Hey guys, this is OracleDaphne. My name is Beth, and I'm back today to do another reading for the 3I Atlas Comet, interstellar object that I posted two other videos about, and I wanted to pick up today. I'm back with some charms, and I have my tea, and I have the tarot here, so I'm going to kind of be doing a little bit of everything. I really wanted to come back and look at this from this perspective of this, interstellar object being Nibiru, okay? Because in the last reading I did, towards the very end of the reading, I asked if this was Nibiru, and I got like this weird silence from my guides. And afterwards, I really did some research and did some reading, and I actually connected the dots, and I feel very strongly that this comet that they're calling 3I Atlas to be the blue star of the Hopi Prophecy, also known as Nibiru. I had thought, like, everything I had heard about Nibiru being on a 100-year orbit, I thought it was a planet. But see, Sitchin said that it actually could be an interstellar object. And I didn't know that. So, like, in the reading, I heard Nibiru. And I was like, that's in my mind, I was like, I don't know how that's going to relate and if that's even really true, because I thought, it really was going to be a planet. And here's the thing. I went online and to check to see if this 3I Atlas comet was blue. And there's pictures of it being blue. And yes, it turned from, I think, red to green to blue because of the, chemical particles. And that's why it turned blue. That's why it looked blue. But the fact that it's blue and it looks like a blue star really points to the fact that, points to the Hopi Prophecy that this is what we're talking about here. We are talking about the planet or interstellar object to be Nibiru. And it really signifies that we are at a really critical juncture on this planet of where things are going. And before I even really get into this more, I want to address how this may depress some people. This video may really also piss people off. And this video, like, I'm not the authority on this topic, but it came up in the reading and I have to address it. And generally, like, these kinds of hot topics, like, I avoid because A, it puts a target on my back. B, like, there's nothing I can do about it. And C, it makes me feel like I have to moderate comments and I have to really defend my position. And that's not like the goal of my readings and my content. I see myself as a creative content person, like a person who is here because I enjoy the creative aspect to creating content. I enjoy doing things, doing different kinds of reading styles of readings, using, different tools like divination tools, like the charms. And I've gotten really into tea reading, and I'm using different tarot decks, and just to see what comes through differently. And so that's really my main focus. And so doing this reading is actually really different from what my normal content is. But, I'm really proud of this work and I stand by this work because I really trust my guides. I trust my guides, and some of the information is not going to be what you want to hear. Some of this information is not going to be what people previously thought. And I really, truly believe people previously thought Nibiru to be a planet, to be much larger than this 3I Atlas to be. And actually, we're lucky that 3I Atlas is not headed in our direction anymore. people think it's not going to return, and that's one of the questions I'm going to ask again. I think I asked it in one of the other videos, but I'm going to ask again in this reading if it's going to return, if it's going to come back, and if Earth is going to get hit by it. I did see yesterday after I recorded that if Earth got hit, it would be on the African continent. So that's the place that I would see it getting hit. But again, I haven't jumped into this yet. But for those of you people who watch my readings specifically for upliftment and like a positive approach, this video may not be for you. Because we are going to be talking about the apocalypse. We're going to be talking about the end times. We are going to be talking about the end of the world as we know it. We're going to be talking about an NUK, potentially a meteorite, potentially, and what would happen if this comet came back and hit Earth. We're also going to be looking at like what messages need to come through for humanity, what humanity needs to know about what they can do in the meantime, what their approach should be, how can we stay positive amidst facing this kind of thing. So that's what this intention of this reading is to go over these topics. And this is not going to be for everyone. And I expect it not to be for everyone. There's a lot of people that are just like, if it's not positive, they don't want to listen. They don't want to watch it. And that's okay. That's your choice. I feel called to do this reading and that's where I stand by it. So I'm going to jump right in and I'm going to ask the question. Okay. Is this 3i Atlas interstellar object going to come back? Wow. I'm going to say something here. Okay. So I'm not sure if you heard, there was like a lot of noise outside that just went by like really loudly. And especially when I was in my car, I experienced this thing where if I was saying something positive, if I was saying something like trying to manifest something like a noise, a loud machine would, or like a loud tractor or lawnmower would start up and like overpower what I was saying. And I'm not sure if I'm pretty sure other psychics have had similar things happen where they go to say something and it's blocked or like some noise happens. I've watched other, psychics who have to re-record their content. There it goes. Many times. And I'm choking here. I'm choking on the words. That is so fascinating. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. This comet is going to return. This comet is going to return because, and maybe not in the same form, but it's going to return. And for most of you are not going to want to hear that. Is it going to hit Earth? Is it going to impact Earth? Interesting. I'm being shown this piece here, which I had this old deck and like the two arrows crossed together meant peace. But it also kind of shows me like it's like blocked for some reason. I'm going to pull some cards here. That's so interesting, the Two of Swords again. You see, we holding up the 2 swords, and we got the 2. To me, this is like the 2 of swords. The 2 of swords oftentimes indicates a disagreement, something like a boundary, where that to me, like, it's like where we say to somebody, no, you can't come over my house. No, you can't come here. They are not allowed to hit the earth. I also wanted to clarify something here, because there was part of the tea reading I mentioned a broken branch. And the broken branch reminded me of what God Source Creator told the fallen angels about not being allowed to come to earth, not being allowed to do what they were going to do. And they went and did it anyways. There's a rebellion here. Regarding these beings. These beings are, very much, wanting to do what they want to do, and there's really nothing stopping them. That is why I'm doing this reading, partly because I want to see, like, what kind of danger we are in, like for real. Okay, so I'm being shown the Hopi Prophecy of the blue star and how it would be the end of the world. I'm seeing a collapse. I'm being shown a collapse in time. Some sort of collapse. Because the 10 of Wands to me indicates, this is where she's overburdened, she's carrying too much, and there's a collapse. A breakdown of some sort that can often come through the 10 of Wands. To me, this is about strength, but only being able to carry so much. So, like, if she was to add to her pile, it's going to become unbearable. Plus the Wheel of Fortune, which shows up as a clock. It shows up as time. So this is like in time, the message that's coming through. There's going to be some kind of breakdown of sorts or collapse of sorts. Which goes along with the Hopi Prophecy. Okay, I want to ask a question because this is very important. What is humanity supposed to be doing about this? Is there any kind of approach that we can have on our life to kind of prepare us for this kind of I want to say impact. Okay, I want to say the word impact, but I don't necessarily believe that it's going to happen, because I feel like and other people have said this. I think Lee Harris has said this in some of his videos and content, which we have to believe in the positive. So we have to, as much as it might show up that there's going to be an impact of a comet or a meteorite hitting the earth, we have to believe that actually it's not going to happen in order to prevent it happening. We have to believe in the positive. The positive is it's not going to happen. And I do actually believe that this is like a blessing. People are naturally pessimistic and just not believing that it's going to happen. And that actually makes it so it does not happen. However, I want to say that in that maybe state of ego, or for some, maybe a state of illusion or delusion of peace or of safety on a tiny blue planet, we have to look at this from the perspective of, if this did happen, what, or if this is what's coming, what does that mean? What is the meaning here? Okay, so the meaning, I pulled the Death card. which is usually about rising up from the ashes and transformation and change. I feel it's more about change than about death. But I said before, like if the 3-eye atlas came back and hit the planet, we're looking at a complete like continent obliteration. We're looking at extreme disruption of the seasons, extreme, I want to say, blackouts within the structure, power grids, just major problems. What is like the message for humanity? I'm gonna ask again. It's the 5 of Cups. To me, this is great sadness. This is great. The 5 of Cups is great sadness. This is like, for many, this is almost like a biblical reference where like people are kind of maybe waiting for this rapture or waiting for this to come. Waiting for the ship to come in is what the 5 of Cup references. And if we thought about 3-eye atlas as being a ship, and I don't see it as a ship, but let's just say it was a ship, some kind of ET ship, then like waiting for that to happen. For some, like it's sort of just like wait and see, kinda like that's the perspective of humanity. But this is great sadness. There's great sadness around this. What is humanity supposed to do about this? What is the message for humanity? Queen of Pentacles. This reminds me of when I almost died. My soul transformed into a tree. And you can see the Queen. I've always kind of seen the Queen of Pentacles as she's coming out of this tree. She's the tree naiad. She is the tree spirit. And to me, it's got a super transformative element. For some, the message is facing like what you would consider to be the end of your life. Facing what it would take for you to transform as a soul. This is like ultimate like soul growth, because either we transform or we die. That's the truth. Like our soul has to transform and grow, or we end up dying. And like the message that's coming through for humanity is about soul growth. It is about transformation. So it almost is like a message of hope, a little bit, in the sense that let's just say it doesn't happen. We're going to be transformed by whatever does take place. So let's just say it does not happen. Okay, let's just say it does not hit Earth, and we survive and we live to see another day. We're going to be transformed by this. But like, I almost feel like when I said when it does not hit Earth, like, I feel like the truth is that there's going to be an impact in some regard. And I don't know what that impact is going to be. I'm going to look at the T again. Okay, so the broken branch, I have to go back to the broken branch again. Okay, I'm sorry. Like, it may seem like I'm all over the place, but I really have the best intentions here to try to be as clear as possible. The broken branch to me reminds me of also a disconnect of some sort from, this could be a blackout from a power grid. From family. This reminds me of our galactic heritage. If you want to look up the galactic heritage deck, that's, I would encourage you to do so. Essentially, the galactic heritage is what we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose the connection. Like, okay, if something were to happen, we're gonna lose the connection, because either we're gonna stay plugged in, or we're going to become unplugged. If we become unplugged, then we might, again, it's sort of like history repeating itself, where we get cut off from our galactic heritage. This is really big, actually. Okay, so let's pretend, for example, you don't believe in ETs. You don't believe in any extraterrestrial beings at all. You strictly believe that your life is what it is and that there is nothing else. Essentially, you are in the camp of being cut off of your galactic heritage because you don't have any connection to it. But if something was to, let's just say, hit this planet, or let's just say there was to be some sort of event where we were connected somehow to an opportunity to look at things differently from this perspective of there's other beings out there, and this comet is not a comet. It's actually these other beings, and these other beings don't have good intentions, and we kind of have to agree to disagree that it's a situation from hell, and we have to agree to disagree on everything, but accept that they're here, and we have more of a connection to the galactic realms and other star systems than what we have been told. It's sort of like this opportunity to grow on a massive level, on a collective, massive level, where we're connecting with our heritage. But the problem is like back in the day, like back in the day when Adam and Eve were starting to, reproduce and, populate the earth, there was this sort of plan in place to remain in touch with other star systems and other beings and be close to, our roots, which are not here on Earth. But then with the fall of Adam and Eve, the beings left. Okay. They left and they took, I believe, whatever technology they had at that time, the spiritual technology, and they cut everybody off. They're like, okay, you're done, because the serpent reptilian beings took over. And so the reptilian beings are really in charge of this planet. And so the other beings, like the galactic beings, are not allowed to come here, and they're not allowed to interfere. But if they did, then essentially people would be forced to look at things from the bigger picture and accept that our roots are not just, and our DNA and everything is not just, it just didn't evolve. Okay, there was influence from other beings in other star systems. And the galactic heritage and our galactic lineage is something that we have been disconnected from. Of course, I'm running out of time, so I can't continue this in this video. I'm going to continue on in another one, hopefully today, maybe tomorrow, and pick up where I've left off. Thank you guys so much for watching and being amazing fans and followers. If you can donate, I appreciate all donations. I send everyone big hugs, big kisses, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Take care. Bye, guys.